Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. I'm Doug. So blessed to have you here. This is one of my more foundational classes, so we'll be breaking down the fundamental poses in the practice a little bit deeper while still building up a strong sweat, connecting to our breath and body rhythms while finding some mindfulness towards the end. So when you're ready, I'll meet you on your mat in just a moment. We'll start in child's pose. So take your knees out nice and wide, big toes to touch. Find comfort in those inner thighs, inner hips. Gently sitting onto your heels. Take a nice full breath in, stretch across your spine, and then walk your hands forward. And as you stretch into this child's pose, release your ribs down towards your mat, forehead to your earth. Take a second. And as you fill up your breath, expanding. Big audible exhale out. Let those shoulder blades of yours soften down and away. We're going to be here for just 2 more rounds of breath, connecting deeply as you inhale through your nose. Softening the jaw, the tongue, your teeth as you exhale out through your lips. One more time, big breath in. And as you exhale, this is the moment of trust. Just allow your body to fall into its space. On your next inhale, carefully start to guide yourself up into a tabletop. Stacking your shoulders up and over your wrists, hips up and over knees. And as you find this stability here, spread your fingertips out nice and wide, really firm into your shins, and just take a little bit of organic movement. And this is anything you like here, bending the elbows and just finding a connection to your mat. One of the things about yoga that we rarely talk about, but is so unique to the practice, is this relationship of our hands pressing into our earth. Most workouts or physical practices, you aren't on all fours that often. So really get comfortable here because you do press in quite often into your fingertips, into those palms. And as you energize into your hands, as you strengthen into your shins, notice that there's a softness in your elbows. So you're not forcing energy into the wrist, but letting energy pass through the wrist. On your next inhale, cow through your belly. Opening up your heart, sending your collarbones out nice and broad. Tailbone radiates up to your sky. Exhale, cat your spine, chin into your chest. And as you tuck your tailbone, think about energizing or connecting to your core a little bit. Inhale, open up, and we're just examining the spine. Sometimes we talk about stretch here, but really as you exhale, you can't stretch the spine. You're really just kind of letting it become lubricated, all those joints, vertebra. One more breath in. One more strong, focused breath out through your lips. So you're really letting all of the air out of the lungs using that diaphragm of yours. Inhale, tabletop position. Take a second here. Normalize. So on our next exhale, we're going to draw our shoulders down away from our ears. Tuck our toes and just slowly pull our belly button to our spine. One more big breath in. Fill up your side bodies. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your knees, send your hips up and back, and keep those knees softly bent. And as you pedal out your legs, just warm up our hamstrings. Our body's in an upside down V. And if you're looking at your thumbs, that's okay to begin with, but start to trust that your eyes can track down towards your toes, letting your neck get nice and long. Here for just 2. Final 1. On your next breath in, let your eyes travel to the top of your mat. And walk your feet slowly beneath your wrists. And wherever your feet land comfortably, let them land. Sometimes they're right by our wrists, sometimes they're a couple inches away, sometimes they're a foot. Chin into chest, grab for those opposite elbows. And as you grab for your opposite elbows here, remind yourself to spread those toes, let yourself trust in your feet, and sway gently left and right. As you sway, you're still using your legs here. You're still controlling a little bit of this momentum with your trunk, with your belly. Last 2. Head is getting comfortable. Neck is longer and longer each second, each breath. Last 1. As you exhale, relax your hands down to your mat. Chin into your chest as you breathe in. Start to roll up your spine. Let your eyes close here. And as your shoulders float up and over your hips, maybe your shoulders just kiss your earlobes for a second. And then exhale, melt those shoulders down your back, let your eyes be closed. And your feet might be a little wider than your hips. Mine are a little wider. So gonna walk them in just a bit. As you walk them in, take a second. Shoulders rise back up by your ears. Maybe you lift all 10 of your toes. And as you exhale out through your lips, you just softly land into your body. Sealing your lips, we're going to discover our Ujjayi breath here, our breath of fire, our dragon's breath. Inhale through your nose. As you Ujjayi, exhale it out through your nose. A little bit of tension in those lift muscles. Beautiful work. Discover that breath one more time for your own body. As you Ujjayi, exhale it out, relax your shoulders away. Gently blink open your eyes, and we'll start our summit, the first flow of our practice. As you inhale, your arms are going to rise up into your sky, your fingertips, pointing towards your sun, towards your ceiling, palms shining towards one another. And just take a second here. Take a breath in, look up. And as you exhale, soften those shoulders down. Great. And as you're finding that stretch, reminding yourself as you're lifting up here, your tailbone's tucking down, you're letting those shoulders gracefully fall. Biceps can be by your ears. Quite often though, I find that biceps are just right in front, kind of around the sideburns, the jawline. Take one more big breath in. As you exhale, you're going to invite your hands to heart center. So this is our Samasthiti. And as we bring our hands to heart center, we want to draw that thumb in. Let those elbows pour out. Take one more big breath in. Think about how you're softening here in the upper shoulders across the base of your neck. And as you exhale, relax your scapulars down your spine. Weight shifting a little bit maybe into your heels. On your next breath in, chair pose through Katasana. So our feet are close together. We're going to squeeze our knees in towards one another. They may touch, they may not, but we want more energy traveling in than traveling out here. And as we find our chair pose, feel free to let the shoulders go a little bit over or forward of the hip. But our goal here is to really stack those shoulders up and over the hips, shifting more and more weight into your heels, letting your knees orbit over your feet. We're here just for 2 more rounds of breath. You're doing great. Stay here. And if your toes are lifted, you're really adding on a little bit more balance and flexion in your shins, your ankles, your calves. One more breath in. As you exhale, relax the toes forward fold. So you can bring your hands to heart center, you can track those arms down, whatever feels good. And of course, bend your knees here. Really let this first forward fold be very soft and gentle. Hands to your mat. We're going to discover our first halfway lift. So fingertips press into your shins. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together, and that will actually open your heart down towards your mat. Then start to look over the edge of your mat, lifting your heels, pressing into your toes, finding that little pier over the ledge. Neck is long, elbows drawing back as the crown of your head is drawing forward in opposition. One more breath. Exhale, relax your hands to your mat. We're going to flow through a few different vinyasas. Step your feet back into a high plank. Softly hinge forward just about an inch, and then lower carefully down towards your belly. Untouch your toes, feet will stay as they are, about hip width distance apart. Press the tops of your feet into your mat. Keep your hands secure underneath your armpit, and now squeeze those elbows as you try to wrap them around your back. On your next inhale, lengthen through your heart. Send your tailbone towards the back of your mat. On your next exhale, anchor into your pelvic bone. Inhale, draw your heart away from your mat. Mini cobra. And as we draw our heart away from our mat, our shoulders don't float forward, but actually float away and back. And that gives us that nice breath. And your gaze is just a few inches in front of your mat. You're not looking super far ahead. You're keeping that back neck nice and long. As you exhale, relax your chin down to your mat. We're going to add on now, keeping those feet grounded. As you inhale, start to press into those hands. If your lower back feels any tension here, stay in your mini cobra. You can lift up here, big stretch, fantastic energy, nice large spine opener, strong connected belly, but nothing too overpowerful. Exhale, bend those elbows. Last one for us. So this is the full upward facing dog, leg will lift. So on your inhale, float the heart forward, press into those feet, lift through, beautiful. Find that strength. Exhale, downward facing dog, up your toes. Shift your hips up and back, take a nice big stretch. We're going to start to find ourselves breath to movement. First time, very slow. Take your time. Second one, a little bit more to your organic rhythm. Inhale, gaze to the top of your mat. Walk, step your feet to meet your wrist. Fantastic. Big toes to touch, about an inch of room between your heels. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, forward fold, take it down. Inhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. So as you press through your feet and your arms rise into your sky, your pinkies wrap in, your shoulders melt down. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Your elbows press out in opposition as your palms find your heart center. Great shifts into your heels. As you breathe in, you transition into Utkatasana, your chair pose. Biceps by your ears, maybe shoulders float a little bit forward, but you're still feeling more stacking sensation over your center. Exhale, forward fold, take it down nice and slow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Now, option is to go through your vinyasa, whatever you'd like. If you want to go into that upward facing dog, inch forward, bend your elbows, stay here at a mid plank. So you're squeezing into that body, hovering your heart. Inhale, upward facing dog. Tops of your feet find your mat. Really extending through your pelvic bone, collarbone drop. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more time. Breath to movement, a little bit more length, less cues. Inhale, gaze to your mat, to the top of your mat. Walk your feet to meet your wrists. Inhale, halfway lift. Find that sensation of float. Exhale, forward. Build it all the way up to Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhale, hands come to heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Bend your knees, lower your knees. Exhale, forward fold. Take it down. Inhale, halfway lift. Find that gentle. Exhale, high to low plank. Moving from your mini cobra, maybe finding your mid plank. Upward facing dog or heart expansion. Exhale, downward facing. And as you exhale, melt down towards your mat, letting your knees find your earth. Sweep those legs in front of you. And we're going to actually scoot a little bit forward. Soles of your feet are going to stay connected. We're going to strengthen our core now. So grab those hamstrings, take a nice full breath in. As you exhale, touch your toe and roll slowly down your back. And the reason why I always love to add in a little bit of core work in the beginning of our practices, we really use our abdominals so much in yoga that to keep them warm up specifically is a great way to support and protect the lower back and any other areas that you may have injuries or sensitivity to. So once you find yourself on your back, slower spine, lower lumbar, fully connected to your mat, fingertips are going to float by your ears, elbows are going to stay out really wide. And the key here is the elbows are here to support the head, not to drive the action. So on your next inhale, lift up. You're going to feel those upper core muscles really activate here. And as you exhale, just give yourself a squeeze. Nice big compression. Inhale to lower a little bit. Exhale to squeeze. Inhale to lower. Exhale to squeeze. Really feel it the entirety of your body. Don't worry about the number of reps or how many you're supposed to hit. Really think about the form and the function in which you're diving into. And just feel that squeeze, that nice strong core. Last three here. Final two. And on one, lift up and just hold. Just for count of three. Count of two. On one, let your shoulders melt back down. Give yourself a second. What I always love after I've done some core strength is take a full breath in and remind yourself that your core muscles are not just two-dimensional, so you're breathing into all 360 degrees of them. As you exhale, you're gonna bring that belly button back into your spine, and we're gonna draw our knees up and over our hips and flex those toes. Fingertips again, right by the ears. Option, if this is a little bit too intense for the shoulders, is to separate them out. I'll show you that in just a second. So big breath in. As you exhale, elongate out that right leg of yours. Bring your right elbow into your left knee and give yourself a little squeeze. Take a breath in, find that balance. Exhale, switch it up and over. Take the opposite side. Bring it back through. Option is to extend out the hands. So that way you're not over rotating. You can even keep the arms by the side to support. So whatever feels good. But the key here is to really feel that intensity of connecting opposite shoulder, opposite hip. So let's take it just the last 4. Last 3, 2, and 1. Good. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Grab behind your hamstrings, rock and roll up and down your spine. 3, 4, maybe 5 times. And as your heels meet your mat, getting into our last little bit of floor work, boat pose. So heels are grounded, toes are flexed. There's a nice strong energy up through your shins. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Draw your shoulders up and over your hips. And as you exhale, softly send those shoulders back until you feel that wiggle wobble right in the belly. Energize your elbows towards your side bodies. And we're just gonna hold here for a count of 3. This is just a prep. We're gonna dive in a little bit deeper if you'd like for 2. On 1, you can start to lift one leg, bring it back down, lift the opposite. Alternate however many times feels comfortable, or eventually float both legs off of your mat. Finding that little tripod sit bone, tailbone, and then extend those arms out. Holding and hovering, maybe looking up, lifting through the chest for 3, for 2. On 1, cross your ankle, wrap your arms around your shin, and take a nice full breath and lift through your heart, lift through your chest, gaze up towards your sky. And as you exhale, cat your spine, chin into your chest, dome out your back, and send your shoulder blades broadly, widely. Let them open up, yeah. 1 more time, big breath in. Big breath out. So we'll meet back in our downward facing dog whenever you feel ready for it. So you're just gonna sweep your legs behind you. Take that tabletop position. Always feel free to take a moment here and just readjust, realign, rediscover. But we will be in our downward facing dog in the next 3 breaths. You can get there early if that feels good. And again, finding a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of movement in your downward facing dog. Never a bad thing. Last one. As you find your downward facing dog, lift your hips, lift your heels, take a breath in. Exhale, relax into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, drawing length through your tired back. Moving into our sun beat. On your next inhale, lift your right leg high, flex your toes, pull your big right toe down to your mat. Take a second, big breath in. As you exhale, relax it here. On your next inhale, lifting up. As you lift up, we're gonna be here for 3 rounds of breath. Eventually you'll find your downward facing dog for 2. Maybe lift those hips, lift your heels. As you exhale, release your heels down to your mat. We're gonna start to begin our sun beat. So as you inhale, lifting up your right leg, extend that right heel back, flex your right toes towards your face, towards your heart. Point your big toe down towards your mat, square your hips. 1 more big inhalation. As you exhale, float your right foot all the way through between your hands, slowly up. So we're gonna start here for just a second and just pulse back and forth for just 2 or 3 times, just to open up that left quad, to deepen and extend into your right knee for 1. And as you bend back into that right knee, we're just gonna walk our left foot forward about 6 to 8 inches. The big toe of our left foot is gonna point up to this top left corner of our mat. We're gonna seal the knife edge of our left foot down. Our heel completely commits to our mat. Square your hips, so your left hip is gonna be behind your right. So press that left hip forward. Inhale, Virabhadrasana, or Warrior One, whichever one you wanna call. As our arms rise up, give yourself that second. Really rotate through the hips. Bend into that front knee. And as you bend into that front knee, that left hip might wanna travel back a little bit. Keep extending through that energy, rotating. And now soft, Send strength from your left glute, your back glute, all the way into that back glute. One more deep inhale in. As you exhale, softly press those arms down. We're gonna open up our hips, step our left foot back, warrior two. And as we step our left foot back into our warrior two, our hips are opening up, so this is almost like a gate, swinging open. Press the palms down. And as you press the palms down, you should feel that strength connected from the hips all the way through your shoulders to your fingertips. Take one more large inhale in, squeeze your shoulder blades. Good work. Gaze over that right middle finger. Exhale, extended side angle. Right forearm into your right thigh. Left arm rises to the sky here. You always bring your right forearm onto that right thigh, but for me, preferably, I like it inside. It makes the work a little bit more into those side bodies. And we're gonna hold here. Key here is that the knee is not tracking in, but actually rotating out. So you can feel a little bit more strength on the outer hip, while you're pressing firmly into the big toe. On your next inhale, we're gonna transition. So we're gonna reverse our warrior. Left hand tracks down softly onto the left thigh to make a connection, not to really bear weight. Right hand rises straight up. As you reach up into your sky, you're exposing those ribs. This is where you can start to dive in a bit further as you track that right hand back. Left palm can slide down, but again, we're never putting weight into this leg. We're really trusting in our foundational pelvic bone. One more inhale, good work. As you exhale, we're gonna softly invite our hands down to our mat, bring out our right foot, pick up that left heel, left hand is gonna stay grounded, and last little bit, inhale, dragonfly twist, just a grounded twist. So as you open up here into this twist, you'll feel your shoulder blades hover together, heart extending out over your right thigh, left heel as firmly connected to the back of your mat as your left palm is to your earth. Take one more breath in. Exhale, release your right hand down, and let's flow through our vinyasas. So stepping your feet back and then move through. Maybe dropping all the way to your belly, maybe hovering to that mid plank, and then extending to your heart opener, whichever variation speaks. Exhale, downward facing dog. Send your hips up and back. Let's track over to the other side. So as you inhale, your left leg is gonna lift. You're gonna flex those toes, squeeze in, square those hips of yours. And as you exhale, you're gonna step your left foot through, low lunge. And just like we did on the other side, we're gonna take just 3 rounds of pulses, helping to open up the hamstrings, the back glute, the front quads, the knee connection. And as you find that last little lunge, step your back foot, your right foot forward 6 to 8 inches. Big toe, point towards that top corner. Heel of your left foot might be almost in line with the heel of your right foot. They might be hanging out close together. They might be in the same vicinity in the sense of that strength and connection, that kinetic exchange. But as you rise, don't worry if it's a little different. If your feet are a little wider, as long as you discover that balance. This pose should test you, but it shouldn't challenge you to the point that you constantly are feeling like you're falling in and out of it. One more big breath in. As you exhale, we're gonna step this back foot back into our warrior two, and I'm just gonna open up so you can see it. So as you step that back foot back and letting that spine open, really square those hips, send that inner thigh of your left leg over and out. Press through that inner right hip, down into the knife edge of that right foot. As your arms extend, let your gaze, understanding where you're going. Take one more full breath in. Tailbone stays tucked. Crown of head lifts out. Exhale, sliding forward. Left arm into your inner left thigh, right arm rises. As we're finding this stretch, just understand, you're feeling that squeeze. You're feeling that presence. Your ribs are floating up, not down. On your next inhale, your right hand falls to your right thigh. Left hand gravitates to your sky, and maybe soften your left elbow is always nice. Take one more big breath in, and then on the exhale, maybe gently explore, expand back. One more inhale. As you exhale, bring out your left foot. And as your hands find your left foot, that right heel lifts. And as it lifts, you square here for a second. Right hand to your foundation, inhale. Left arm grows, and as you grow through that twist, just feel that lift. Now just rotating a little bit so that we can see all the different size and dimensions of these poses. One more breath in. And as you exhale, let your left hand fall to your mat. Step your left leg back and flow through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take one more full breath in. Maybe let steam pour out as you exhale out through your lips. So as we move through this, understand your body, your poses, your posture is going to look different than mine. As long as it's authentic to you, as long as you feel that your practice is challenging you and yet rewarding you at the same time, please continue. Let's find our next inhale, right leg high. Lips sealed. Ujjayi exhale, step your right leg through, low lunge. Inhale, warrior one. Walk your back foot forward. Begin to elevate up into your vinyasa, into your foundation. And exhale, step that left foot back. Float your arms out. Hold the full breath in to lift. As you exhale, slide it forward, extended side. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, bring out your right foot. Left hand stays grounded, left heel lift. Inhale, dragonfly. Right arm extending up. Exhale, right hand to your mat. Step your right leg back and flow through your vinyasa. As you open up your heart, exhale, downward facing dog. Let's get into the other side right away. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step your left leg through. Virabhadrasana, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. As you land into it, take your entire breath to press down to your feet to lift up through your shoulders, the crown of your head. Exhale, slide it forward, extended side angle. Inhale to reverse your warrior, high five. Exhale, bring out that left foot of yours, right hand grounded. Inhale, left hand opening up nice and soft. Exhale, left hand to your mat, step your left leg back, flow through. Lifting through your heart. Fantastic. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more time. On your next inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step your right leg through. Low lunge. Inhale, Virabhadrasana, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Stay here, full inhalation. Slide forward, guiding your heart. Inhale to reverse. High five that back wall. Exhale, bring out your right foot. Left hand becomes that pillar. As you breathe in, right arm builds front. Exhale, right hand to your mat. Step your right leg back, flow through. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last side, last time for some B. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Virabhadrasana to rise. Exhale, warrior one. Inhale, lifting up and expanding. Exhale, examining and diving forward. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, bring out your left foot. Right heel lifts. Inhale, left hand rises, building from your right palm. Exhale, relax your left hand down. Step your left leg back and move through that vinyasa. Really celebrate this next upward facing dog. Really great power. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath in. As you exhale, relax those knees once again down to your mat. Let's sit onto our heels for just a second. Fantastic work. Ooh. So, you can feel that cardiovascular rise, that breath to movement connection. What's so great is you can always continue just to expand on the flow. Just keep moving through it. Not creating a greater rhythm or rate, but a deeper breath. Maybe even taking longer through the flow than you expect initially, which is always a surprise, I think, for every single yoga. So we're gonna start now diving into just a little bit of inversion or arm balance play. And this is one of the foundational ones. So a couple ways to get into it. One of my favorite thoughts is to always start off walking those feet out nice and wide. And you can do the same thing I'm doing. You're going to the wide space of your mat. Toes are gonna flare out, heels are gonna flare in, feet are wider than my hips, bend those knees, and slowly track yourself down. If this becomes a little too sensitive for you, you can always grab a block, a large book, and place it underneath your hips. Hands are gonna come to heart center, elbows are gonna press in. And just take a second as your thumbs travel towards your heart. Feel that energy of your elbows pressing into your thigh. And now take a second, press those inner thighs into your elbows. So in this frog squat, we're obviously opening up and finding flexibility in our hips, but we're also getting an understanding of dichotomy or juxtaposition when it comes to direction. Our tailbone is strongly pulling down towards the earth. You can feel it really immensely. And the crown of your head has to do the opposite direction. So there might be even a stronger general pull towards the sky in your neck, in your ears than normal. And that's okay. We're gonna use that juxtaposition to our benefit. So we'll take one more breath in. As you exhale, you're gonna start to lean forward. Hands are gonna come down to your mat, really fingertips digging in. I'm gonna rotate so you can really see this. So as we start to move forward, my center of gravity already starts to shift. And as the center of gravity shifts, it travels from my feet and works its way through the kinetic chain in more into my hands and elbows. As I start to find more connection through my hands and elbows, squeezing my inner thighs together allows me to really find that presence. And maybe my gaze travels. Weight's now much more in my hands than my feet. Maybe one toe comes off my mat, and then the other, and then both. And we find ourselves in flying frog. Squeezing those elbows, really finding a lift, pressing through. And so as you're moving through this, understand your breath is nicely strong and connected. We're not leaping into this posture, but allowing your gravity to shift from your heels into your toes, into the heels of your palms, and then eventually right into the elbows, the palms of your hands, and maybe those toes lift away. Your eyes are always tracking forward because that's where you're going. Kind of like when you're walking, you're always looking ahead to where your destination is. Same idea here in inversion. You want to look ahead towards you're going, not where you came from. Because if you look back, you might roll forward. You might go for a little tumble. So go ahead and keep playing just for another 5 or 8 seconds, nothing too long. And understand if your toes don't both, or all 10 toes don't fly off your mat, that's no problem at all. You're building up that strength, and you have to use not just your arms, your forearms, your biceps, your triceps, but your chest, your back, your shoulders, your core muscles, your hips, your quads, your heels. All of you is lifted and engaged in this moment. Take one more breath here. And as you exhale, softly go ahead, take any variation of a seat that you like. Cross those legs for a moment. Hands resting on your knees. And this is just a good time to check in with yourself. Maybe your eyes closed, maybe you keep them softly open. But just take a few rounds of breath. Notice what's happening maybe in your heart. Notice what the physical sensations that you were just dealing with have taken you to. Perhaps in your next breath, that inhale really falls super deep, deeper than it had prior. You're getting more comfortable. And as you exhale, let that breath go. We're going to start to build ourselves back up in just a moment, but taking time to really cultivate and appreciate that ability for you to slow things down. Because as we get into our Sun C, our last, not flow, but standing series, we'll be testing balance. We'll be causing a little bit of that heart rate to flutter. So take your moment. So whenever you like, tabletop in a downward facing dog forward. Hands to your mat. And this is a great opportunity maybe just to kind of feel that connection once again. Tuck your toes, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Slowly lift your right leg high, big breath in. Exhale, step your right leg through, low lunge. We're gonna keep our left heel lifted this time, and as we breathe in, we're gonna reach our hands up into the sky, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. And as you find this, just like in our Warrior One, our hips are squaring themselves forward. But our left heel is lifted, so there's a soft bend in that left knee. And there's a little bit more balancing going on because we're on the ball mount of that left foot. Take one more breath in. As you exhale, you're going to invite your hands back to heart center, similar to Samastiti. Elbows are going to press out. Inhale, hinge forward, and we're going to rotate over to our right. So our left elbow is going to come to the outside of our right thigh. Maybe even stepping that left leg back. I notice I have to do that almost every single time. And press your right palm into your left, opening up the heart. As we find this heart opener, we're just finding this balance. We're here for just 3. Keep kicking that left heel back for 2. On one big transition. As you breathe in, arms are going to rise back up. Woo! Exhale, hands come to heart center. We're going to step this left foot of ours forward to meet our right. Take a second, arms relax. Staying there, one big breath in. One big breath out. Our left leg is our foundational leg here. So slow tree pose. We're going to open up our right inner thigh, our right knee, and bring our right heel maybe to our left ankle, perhaps to our left calf, or all the way up into our left inner thigh. And now with this, we want to avoid the inner knee. We want to send that opposite knee out towards the opposite wall. Take a second. Hands can fall right by your side. I personally like hands at heart center. It's just a nice little change. Thumbs resting on your sternum. And we're here just for 3.
I turn my head and hold it high, but it's making me shiver. He's not
2.
like you, don't want him to. He's more like the river.
On 1.
When we're alone,
Start to relax that right leg down. And as you melt the right leg down, take a full breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Bend into both legs. Step your right foot back only. Keep bending that left knee. Discover your foundational leg. Soft bend in that right knee. Right heel stays lifted. Inhale back into the crescent lunge. You're on to the hill. And as you find that crescent lunge, take that twisted squirrel. Hold here strongly. Lift your hips squared. One more big breath in. Exhale, Samastiti through your hand. Heart traveling towards your thumbs, thumbs traveling towards your heart, elbows shooting out. Hinge it forward and take that rotation over to your left. So again, finding your foundation first in your leg and then pressing firmly into that right palm through your left. Connecting the right elbow to your outer left thigh, and that connection really commits you to this pose if you're improved. You can look up towards the sky, you can look down towards the big shoulder level, whatever feels good. 2. Big transition here, so squeeze here through the inner thighs, even though they're not touching. Inhale, crescent lunge, arms to rise up, good. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Step that right foot to meet your left, close the eyes for a second. Big breath in, big breath out. Eyes can blink open now, let's find our tree pose. Open up that left thigh this time. Ankle, heel to ankle, heel to calf, heel to upper thigh. Match whatever you did on the other side. And know that if you fall out of this tree pose, no big deal. You can always get back into it. I think that's one of the great things about our balancing postures. They're there to cause us to fall out. We are there to discover balance, not just to have it. So give yourself that permission to tumble the toe. One more breath in. As you exhale, relax those hands. Relax that left leg down. Pedal out those knees. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in, arms to rise up. As you exhale, hands come to heart center, Samastiti. One more time, big breath in. As you exhale, bring your hands to heart center, Samastiti. One more inhalation. As you exhale, hands release down by your side. We're going to take our eagle pose here. So as we find our eagle pose, just set yourself up carefully. Take a second. And to Sounds TT, take one more breath in. As you exhale, relax those hands down by your side. Inhale, arms to rise. Exhale, hands come heart center, Sounds TT. Take one more breath in. Exhale, relax those arms down by your side. Carefully blink open your eyes. So our last little bit of balance challenge will be eagle pose. And again, feel free to stay at the top of your mat as long as you can see me. I'm just making it so it's a little bit more adjustable for you. So we're going to begin with our arms. Let's do that one time. Arms to rise. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Sounds TT. Take more big breath in. As you exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Slowly blink open your eyes if they're closed. We're going to find our last balance pose of class. It is just simply eagle pose, one of the more difficult, one of the more complex postures, I think, in anybody's practice. It incorporates opening up our shoulders, our hips, those big loving joints, as well as finding a little bit of balancing factor. So when you're ready, we're going to start by lifting our arms up to our sky. And let's wrap our right arm underneath our left. So that right arm crosses underneath, and you can bring your hands either to your shoulders. I find back of hands really comfortable. If you have really open elbows, palm to palm is available. Take a breath in here. No matter what variation you have, let those elbows softly lift up a little bit. As you exhale, bend your knees, lower down, lifting your right heel. Right leg crosses up and over. So right arm went under left arm, right leg goes over left leg. And as you find that connection, sit into it. Big toe of this right foot can find your earth, or it can slowly wrap around that left ankle of yours, whatever feels good. And then sit into this eagle pose. Feel yourself supporting that right hamstring with your left quad. We're here just for 3. 2. On 1, slowly open up and unravel. As your fingertips grow, we're going to take it to the other side right away. So left arm wraps up and under, just like your right. So hands to shoulders, back to back, palm to palm, whatever feels good. Take a breath in, lift up a little bit to create a little bit of squeeze in the shoulder blades. As you exhale, bend your knees. You can soften your elbows onto your sternum, lift your left heel, cross that left leg up and over. Same variation, big toe to your earth, wrap it around that ankle. And some legs are easier than others, so don't worry if one toe doesn't wrap as fully as the other does. I notice in my practice quite often, one side's a little bit more pesky. We're here just for 2 more breaths. Good. Final one. Inhale to unravel. Arms to rise up to your sky. As you exhale, let's swan dive it down. Just take your time pouring over those legs of yours. You can bend your knees, whatever feels good. Last little inhale, halfway lift. We've gotten to our end. Exhale, high to low plank. Step back and move to your vinyasa. Just appreciating your growth, where you've arrived, where you've come from. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck those toes. Send your hips up and back. Big breath in. And on your next exhale, drop down to those knees. Slowly sit onto those heels. Sweep your legs around in front of you. And as we found ourselves to our mat, we're just going to end class with a little bit of deep stretch. So beginning, soles of the feet together. Heels can be very close to the groin, or they can be as far away as feels comfortable. Also an option is always to have feet separate. What we're going to do is take a few gentle bows or folds and really open up this hip crease. So hands starting on the shins. Take a nice full breath in and expect how so bring the soles of your feet together. Why am I so confused right now? Slowly bend your knees, lower it down onto your shins, and then sweep it forward. Sit onto those glutes of yours, soles of your feet together. Heels can be very close to your groin. They can be as far away as you feel comfortable. You can always separate out the feet as well. That feels better for the hips. Our goal here today is just to really kind of dive in and pour into these front hips, into these inner thighs, these adductor muscles. So hands are gonna rest softly on your knees, your shins. You're gonna take a full breath in, crown of your head lifting up. And as you exhale, gentle, bow forward. Don't worry about going super deep. You really just wanna start to warm this fold up. Chin into chest, head gets heavy. Let's take that 3 more times. So as you breathe in, you're gonna roll up nice and slow. And as you exhale and you bow forward, that fold actually helps to press the breath out through your body naturally, letting you get a little bit deeper each time. Last 2, breath in. Beautiful. As you exhale, breath out. Final 1, breath in. You can see how we're slowing things down as you exhale, breath out. We're just gonna stay there for just about 3 rounds. And as things start to calm and cool in your mind, in your body, notice how that calms and cools through your emotional center, through that heart of yours. Last one. As we breathe in, slowly roll up. We're gonna keep our hands right on our knees as we lift. As you exhale, carefully rotate over to your left shin and just kind of float across that left shin, gentle back. And then as we breathe in, we're gonna roll up and we're gonna roll over to our right and just across that right shin, gentle back. Take that 2 more times in each direction, just rolling through. Comfortably landing, rolling up, comfortably landing over. 1 more time each direction. Final 1, breath in. Final 1, breath out. Inhale, rising up. Softly bring those knees of yours together, and feet can go out as far away as possible, or you can keep those feet a little wider and bend the knees so that way your fold becomes softer. It really depends on the opening of your spine, but let's take our seated forward fold. So as you inhale, I really enjoy dragging my fingertips along my mat, no matter what leg variation I have, creating that reach up, so I really feel like I'm pulling from the earth. Exhale, draping down, forward fold, and taking that fold as deep as feels comfortable. And always know that once you've landed in your fold, you can always breathe and create a little bit more space, a little bit more room. And as you exhale, you just softly walk into that space there. Here for 2. 1. Inhale, eyes may be soft, roll up your spine, scoot to the middle of your mat. Our last few moments of class together. As you exhale, lower down onto your back, hook your knees into your chest, give yourself a little squeeze. Left leg extends out, right leg hugs deeper in. Exhale, twist that right left thigh, right knee up and over. Right hip stacking over left sometimes, and I notice this honestly most of the time, is I have to scoot my left hip in a little bit towards the middle of my mat to find a true, authentic stacking. And if you have to do that, that's all right. We're here just 2 more breaths, letting our shoulders relax, not trying to force the twist, but actually breathe into it. Last one. Inhale back through center, hug both knees into your chest. And as you exhale, extend that right leg out long, left knee into your heart. Exhale, track your left knee up and over your right. Maybe find that same adjustment we just did. Arms out to a T, big stretch. 2. Slowly grab your hamstrings, soles of your feet, stamp into the sky, happy baby. Knees towards your armpits, hold back onto your mat, back of your head, take one more inhale in, full breath. Breathe into the gate that is your inner thighs, into your lower ribs. As you exhale, hug your knees into your chest, squeeze into your ball pose, last pose really of class. One more full breath in. As you exhale, melt into your final Shavasana, legs out long, arms fall by your side. Maybe readjust and slide your shoulders underneath your heart to really create that loving platter. And as you melt down, adjust to whatever you need. Be here for just the next few rounds. Melting, calming. Allowing for your breath to start to draw you back into the space, into your body, into your moment. Perhaps you connect to your fingertips, your toes, your eyelashes. Or maybe your focus emanates from your very center, from your pelvic bone, your belly, from the spaces of your body that touch your mat. Wherever you are, take a full breath in and let your body fully stretch. Big, long, full morning stretch. Then as you exhale, hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a little squeeze. Roll it over to your favorite side or rock and roll up and down your spine. And we'll all meet in just a nice, comfortable, easy seat. And as one leg crosses in front of the other and you find your sit bones, let your eyes close. Hands find one another. Thumbs resting on your sternum. Chin softens a little bit towards that heart. It's always a great reminder when we dive back into the foundations of our practice, if we are new to it, or if we've been here for quite a while, how we learn something, not just about the practice, but more so about ourselves. So those thoughts and ideas, those points in time where your brain or your focus might have drifted away, no judgment towards yourself. Knowing that when you came back, you were a little bit more connected, a little bit more expansive, a little bit more learned. On your next breath in, float your hands from your heart to your third eye, loving the foundation and the base that you've built your entire life on. Take one more inhale in, and as you exhale, bow yourself forward to seal your practice. Namaste.